Today we'll be talking about the Dasha, how much Dasha system astrologers need to know and how much your readings will benefit when you get the real grasp of it. Let us start with the first question. Do the astrologers need to have the advanced knowledge of the Dasha? So the short answer to this is no. They don't need to have this super advanced knowledge of Dasha. By the way, the Dasha is the special feature of Vedic astrology regarding the timing of events. Don't need to be some super scholar about the timing system, and I know many astrologers who are doing just a great job with the standard rules, and I could give you some proof for this. I know astrologers who are either using the different tools, they are mixing many standard tools and they are still achieving very good results. There are also other people who are supporting themselves with different type of Vedic branches of knowledge or even mixing with the Western types of knowledge, and some of them are also getting the assistance from the other people who are very technical about the Dasha system. So we know that you don't need to have this special Dasha system, but let us talk what kind of benefits each of the level of advancement brings and what you can expect in this journey. So in today's video we'll be breaking this into the 3 stages, 3 levels, and after this video you will know what are the features for each level, what are the expectations and benefits when you are attaining each of these stages. So let us see what we have on this level 1. So the level 1, if you are already for some time on this channel, then probably you are already on that level, because that would be using the standard practice of Vimshotri Dasha in the main astrological chart, the Rashi. So the standard Dasha Vimshotri is really exposing you to the whole gamut of a Dasha system. So by mastering that, you also get the grasp how the old Dashas are working. So with the practice, you will get some placement which are activated in a repetitive way. So then you will understand a little bit the language of the rishis, how these various houses, the yogas, are activating the various activities in our life. And then you will also open the Vargas and see how this places in those divisional charts, these additional charts, which are expansion of the houses, how you are getting the confirmation there, and also you will be able to do also the rectification, because without the timing it may be very hard to rectify your time, because we are doing that based on the past events and the correlation between those events and those specific position in the chart. So I would say that if you want to be fluent in your readings, then this first standard level of understanding, the grasping of how the Dasha works, how the language of the rishis is seen in the chart, this is something you need to acquire when you are doing the readings. Just if you get the standard rules we are using here on this channel, there is also a special video dedicated to Dashas, then that also will give you the standard toolbox to understand how to go about the timing system using the Vedic astrology. And you may also check, you may compare how the reading would be without the Dasha, so you will not be able to tell when this karma will manifest. For example, you could be telling about things which are already happened, that karma has already burned, and also you may be talking about the situations which will be in the 20 years, so it's not very relevant now. In fact, sometimes if the client is very young, there are some yogas which are not yet active, so they may also sound a bit strange. So of course, without the Dasha, you are able to give some kind of psychological typology, we would say, right? So there is this one branch of psychology, the typology, which is very much popular because people want to get that meaning, the direction. So they want to also get the, we could say, the profile. What kind of profile? Who am I? To which group am I belong? And this categorization also is often helpful to go about the life, go about my choices in relationship and in the career life. So of course this could give you some understanding of typology, but what is really the biggest benefit of Vedic astrology is the Dasha system, that we can ascribe all those planet position to their specific periods in our life. Difference between adding the time and doing the reading without the time is huge, and we should all aspire to be on that level when we are using the timing. Okay guys, if you like this video so far, please don't forget to click the thumbs up. According to what we know, this is really helping the channel, so you are doing me a great favor with that. And if you are into Jyotisha, Vedanga, the Vedic astrology, you don't want to miss the future videos, so click the subscribe button with the bell notification on so you don't miss any future videos. And now let's go back to the rest of the video. Level 2 is when you are adding more rules to this whole gamut of tools. You are already quite proficient with using this standard set of rules, and you would like to get a little bit more knowledge, a little bit different dimension, and maybe more clarity of what's going on. So this can start very simply. For example, we may add this Anubhava principle. Anubhava means the experience. So what is the outcome? What is the experience of this Dasha and the Antardasha, which is the major period and the sub-period. We know that this major periods is divided into 9 sub-periods called Antardasha. So if you count from the Mahadasha planet in the chart, so the major planet position, to the sub-period planet position, and then you will count the same distance from the Antardasha, you will get the Anubhava principle. You will know what is the experience, what is the outcome, what it is all about. So for example, this Anubhava principle is now, I would say, belonging to that part 2 of the whole timing system. So when I see this Dasha and Antardasha, when I see their position, when I see the Anubhava, this is giving me another layer of information. This is giving me another dimension, another perspective, and sometimes too much is confusing, but sometimes I need something more to get me more clarity, detail, and transparency of what's going on. So we can say that those rules we are applying in the part 2 are basically transferred through a lineage, through the, as we call it in the Sanskrit, parampara. So you are getting some basic understanding. In this Dasha will happen this and that. In the Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra, in the Uttara Kalamrita, you can get the information like Venus, Saturn Dasha may not be the best. But now using those rules, and especially the theory behind the whole philosophical backdrop which stands behind this theory, you can get through the parampara, through people who were also benefited from this generational knowledge, right? The research which is going from one generation to another generation for hundreds of years. So there is also some meaning to the distance from Mahadasha to the Antardasha. There is the Maraka distance, there is the Dushtana distance. So they are all having a little bit nuanced, different meaning. So based on this, you can also get some additional value to what's going on in the period. Another point would be to take different reference point. We have the Aruda Lagna, and we can see the Dasha from various points. For example, we can check the Antardasha, the sub-period, from the Aruda Lagna. And this will be very important and additional tool of how this sub-period is adding, or how it is seen from the perspective of my image, but also Aruda is, as we know from Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra or the Jaimini, very extensively used for health. We know that, for example, if you have some planets in 2nd or 7th, this may show your health issues. The planets in 3rd or 8th may even show the periphery of health problem, which may be some very, very serious things like even the demise. So the Aruda Lagna is very much used for the marriage, especially the Upapada, for our category to which we belong in society. This is the Aruda Lagna, and also very extensively used for health. And for example, we are taught in the tradition that 2nd and 7th from Aruda Lagna, those sub-periods may present the challenges to your health. So by examining Kendra, Trikona, Dushtana, Maraka position from Mahadasha to Antardasha, by seeing the Dasha, especially the sub-period here in this context from various reference points, and by analyzing the Anubhava principle, these are just few examples to think if we could really go without such rules, what they would add to the whole picture, and what kind of knowledge they bring, which perspective now we are talking about. So sometimes, even if we have this theory behind, this dry theory, still you need to have those correlation, you need to have those examples. So without practice, it's very hard to touch those nuances, what these various points are really about. Because these differences between these rules, they can be very subtle, and sometimes they are not on the level of manifested or on this conventional knowledge, right? But maybe on the level of the ideas of energies, like we were discussing in many lectures before. So these rules either will belong to your standard toolbox, or some of this more advanced rule on the level 2 will only be used when you need to answer some specific questions. There are some specific rules for specific questions which you are not using for every chart reading or for every question or doubt or things you want to see, but they are only in the certain situations relevant. This knowledge, this is not really necessary to know for everybody, because first of all, maybe too much for some, or it's not so important, you would like to get some more overall or generalized knowledge, or you will have another tool, or sometimes you may even try to ask some other person who is familiar with those rules, and by this collaboration you can also get into getting the answer that the querent would need. For example, I know many astrologers are using the prashna or the yearly chart to answer these type of questions, which I would be using other rules to check, or sometimes you would have totally the two astrologers would go to totally different routes to get the same answer. So you will get those, now we could say, this personality of astrologer and their way of seeing the world would also be synchronized with the preference for the specific rules they would use. That is a level 2 when you don't have only the standard rules from the Shastra or from the maybe the internet, as the internet now is the biggest Shastra, biggest authority, biggest pramana, and maybe then it is very worthwhile to have some friends who are familiar with those more advanced tools, when they can assist you in your final questions or problematic you want to answer. Now on that level 3rd, we are going beyond the Dasha in the timing. You can use the prashna, you can use the yearly chart, you can assist yourself with the progression. We can go to a Dasha Pravesh chakra when you are drawing a special chart for only this period. So here we are also getting in contact with few modifiers which are making everything easier or even everything different in a good way. So now you are looking at things how they should be seen. For example, you may be interested in principle when people, most of the astrologers, are analyzing the Sadashati or the Kantakshani from moon in the Rashi chart. So they are seeing the Saturn transits from the moon placement in the Rashi, but in that very ancient times, in the ancient texts, we are exposed to a little bit different rule when we are seeing the reference point as the Navamsha moon. So we are seeing, of course, the Shani Gochara, the Shani transit in the Rashi, but as the reference point we are taking the moon in the Navamsha. So this will, as you can suspect, give us totally different timing. When is the Sadashati, when is the Kantakshani? So this is also learned something through tradition, and this will modify also those standard rules. We have also the yearly chart, we have also the progression when each year there is a different sign being activated. This is quite useful for rules which are very binary in nature, like which are falsifiable, like yes or no. I want to get this yes or no answer. So by these Rasi Dashas, they are much better based on their nature to answer such questions. Now, if you have many Dashas, then you can assist yourself with the transit, with the Gochara. For example, for health, if you have a first Dasha, second, third Antardasha, all they are somehow related to 8 or 12, in the Navamsha, which can produce some challenges to the health. Then you can see the transits of Saturn. You can use another Varga and see how this is placed in those Vargas. Are this touching the points of the bad health? And then you will get fewer periods, and therefore your timing also would be much more correct and therefore much more valuable. And then, of course, if they are more than one dasha, you can open the chart related to the dasha. And also this is the way to eliminate and focus or choose only one amongst many. So that choosing one amongst many, I would say, would be the biggest characteristic of that third level. My conclusion would be that you need to be familiar with the level 1 to give this general predictions, and that is something which really your clients will benefit from it. And it's up to you when you would like to advance to more second or the third level. It must not be today or tomorrow, but definitely the first one is something you need to be better and better, because that would really give you the foundation, and your clients will really benefit from that standard level 1. I can tell you that in that journey of advancing through all these also different spaces in each of these levels, going up and up, this is big fun and very nice practice, because if you learn one principle, then the beauty of it is that you can apply it to all the chart, all the cases, and if you got the good grasp of what this rule is reflecting in the external or conventional life, then you can use that one rule for all of these life cases. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for today. I hope you find this video interesting and informative. If you do, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see similar videos in the future. Thanks for being here with me on this channel and watching this video till the end. And if you would like to get some real tangible tools about how to interpret the sub-period using Vedic astrology, then consider watching this video here.